Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning. Welcome to the inaugural lecture series. So hi, I am Dr. Nur Shafika, your moderator for today, and I am a senior lecturer from School of Human Resource Development and Psychology. And today we will present it to you our amazing speaker who are Professor Dato' IRTS Dr. Muhammad Jailani bin Muhammad Noor, Pengarah Pusat Strategik Penjanaan Pendapatan Pejabat Bendahari Universiti Teknikal Malaysia, Melaka. Dato' will share with us a talk on developing a thinker, which one of the skill in graduate success attribute subject to all future graduates of University Technology Malaysia. Ladies and gentlemen, as we know that thinking skill is one of the most valuable life skill a person can possess. It is the ability to think logically, clearly, and rationally. So, without further ado, we are excited to bring it to you, Professor Dato' IRTS Dr. Muhammad Jailani Muhammad Noor, to give his talk. Let's welcome. Assalamualaikum, Dato'.
Waalaikumsalam. How are you today, Dr. Noor?
Alhamdulillah. So how are you, Dato'?
Alhamdulillah, very good. Nice weather today.
Yeah. So thank you so much for accepting this talk series, Dato'.
Okay. First of all, thank you very much to UTM and the office for inviting me to be able to share my thoughts today about your topic, inshallah. Thank you.
All right. So, Dato', the floor is yours.
All right. The topic today will be developing thinkers, thinking skills. So this is the most important skill you should have in life, because if you stop thinking, you stop living. So once you are a human being, no matter whether you are students, lecturers, or whatever post you are holding, you must always develop your thinking skills from time to time. Okay, for that, let's start this morning. How are you? Hopefully, you are all fine. And let me just briefly introduce myself so that orang kata kalau tak kenal maka tak cinta kan. So, for us to be comfortable, my name is Muhammad Jailani. My friend usually will call me Prof. Jai. So it's much easier and very short form and easier to call me that way. Okay, so I'm from UTM and my background is actually engineering. I'm a mechanical engineer and I lecture in mechanical engineering field, and my specific field will be in vibration, acoustics and vibrations. So my field of study previously is all about mechanical engineering and mechanical vibrations. But now, in the last 7 years, I've been involved with what we call the NLP, or neuro-linguistic programming field, which is about the man side and the vibration of the mind and the heart. So getaran jiwa lah. Dulu getaran mechanical, sekarang getaran jiwa. Alright, so I'm also a certified NLP trainer, practitioner, and certified NLP coach. With that, I would love to share what I have in mind about how to develop thinking and the thinking skills and all that. Maybe it is something new for you, maybe you have heard it, but I'm sure there will be one or two pieces of information that I will share today that is something new to you that will benefit your endeavor in your future life. Okay, let's start. What's next? So let's quote Albert Einstein. The value of a college education is not the learning of many facts and figures, but the training of the mind to think. So obviously, as a university, we are supposed to produce good citizens. We are supposed to produce good workers, but we also have to produce good human beings. So for us to play our role as a human being, no matter where you are, you have to train yourself to think not only thinking on the surface, but also in the subsurface level. We'll explore that in a moment. And let's see. Next, please. All right, Dr. Noor, now it's your turn. What is the first image that you pop up in your mind? Not what you think, but the first thing that pop up in your mind. What can you see?
In this picture,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
all right. Okay. From my what I'm seeing is that this is more towards two person that feel. I think that they want to see the future in their life.
Right. So you can see the couple, right?
Yeah. So
Okay. I'm sure our audience they will also see something from this picture. But whatever you see represents the dominant state of your thinking style. Did you realize that, Dr. Noor?
yeah, yeah,
Wow.
exactly,
Interesting, eh?
exactly. Yeah,
So can you are you able to see the a baby in that picture?
the baby in that picture. Okay, when you just give
Right.
that picture clearly, then I can see that a big picture of a baby.
Yes, but that's not the first thing that you see, right?
Yeah,
So this is interesting. This is interesting. So I'm sure all the audience will they have to pick. You audience, you have to pick what is the first image that pop up in your mind because this will tell you your dominant state of thinking. We need to realize how we think so that we can appreciate why people are not saying what you are seeing, why people are not appreciating your idea because they think different way. The dominant state of their thinking, you are looking at the same thing, but the first thing that Dr. No sees is the couple. So in a way, Dr. No, you are a kind of person. Can I tell you that? Can I
yeah,
explain it to you?
of course.
Okay.
You may explain
So
better.
your dominant state of thinking is you are a detailed kind of person. Am I right?
Okay, all right.
So if you
Right.
look at something, you look at the work, you look at the report, you read something, and you try to portray your ideas and all that, your dominant thinking style is you go into the details. You are a person that very good in saying spelling mistakes or whatnot.
Okay.
Does that,
So we need
does
to
that
say
make
that
sense?
we need to say that I am the person who actually yes. When it comes to my job, is that I really need to look at very thoroughly because I'm
Yes.
afraid if I'm doing mistake, so people will put on blame on me.
Yes, yes, yes. So we have different kind of dominant thinking state. Myself, I will look at the baby first. I can see the baby first very clearly. So people who sees the baby first, they are the kind of person who will always look at the bigger picture, the concept, the strategy, and the overall topology of whatever we are talking about. So
The
if
holistic
it is
view.
simple, yeah. So, but in life, we have to be able to do both. So we have to train our mind, to shift our dominant style of thinking. So actually, this is fun. At the same time, knowing this concept, you appreciate why other people are not seeing what you are seeing in life, and you can appreciate what other people's ideas are all about. Then we can work together in a more harmonious way. Actually, from this image, there's a lot more thing. There's the background, like a city. You have some kind of water, like sea and whatnot. There's also an abstract diagram in there. So it depends on what kind of person you are. You pick up different things, right? So is that something interesting to you, Dr. Noor?
Obviously, yeah. That's why I really because I am the human resource and psychology people. So
Uh-huh.
I am really interested in terms of knowing what is human perceptions toward one thing and why we have like a different way of perception.
Yeah, yeah, very nice. Very nice. Now we appreciate more, about how we think and we can adjust a different way of looking at things and all that. So we will explore more, and be fasten your seatbelt. This is starting to get interesting right now. So I guess the audience, our audience, can also uh, learn from our conversation during the last 3 minutes. So yeah, interesting, right?
Yeah,
Let's move on.
obviously.
Next one. All right. So here we have a quote that is also very important in life. So it says that thinkers think and doers do, right? But until the thinkers do and the doers think, progress will be just another word that in the already overburdened vocabulary of science by science. So it means that we have to do both. We have to do both in life. You have to think and you have to do. So if you think too much, at the end of the day, especially we in the academic world, when we want to do something, we will analyze until one stage they call it analysis paralysis, because with too much information, at the end of the day, you don't do anything. So we have to balance between thinking and doing. Otherwise, progress will not happen. So I guess that makes sense to you, Dr. Noor?
Yeah, obviously. This is
All right.
absolutely correct.
Yeah. So we have to manage both. But later on, we'll look at how this has to be balanced. I will explain here the how to. In our presentation today, first we will look at the core of thinking process, the thinking process, what it takes to do a proper thinking. Next, I will go into what we call later on, deep into the presentation. I will discuss two types of thinking. That is what we call the critical thinking, which is a lot of the activities in the university will be dwelling about this, and also creative thinking. So we will explore more later on about the creative thinking, critical thinking, and we also go into exploring our conscious and subconscious mind. So if you look at the screen right now, you have the core of thinking skills. So these are all the core of thinking skill that we need to appreciate in life. That is, number one is about focusing. You have to focus, and then obviously, like what the saying goes, wherever your focus goes, energy flows. So focusing requires energy. When you focus on something, your attention is toward that something. The energy will go towards that something. So that's how you manage your thinking process, by first knowing what you are focusing. Otherwise, in our life today, you get distracted easily. We have handphone, we have gadget, we have so many other things outside your internal world, and that are all distraction if you are not focusing on the right thing. So that's the first thing. Second thing is about gathering. You gather information consciously, and that information you need to process in your cognitive mind. So first is about focusing, second is about gathering the information, the third one is about organizing that information, because the information that you get are all over the place. So when you want to start to do proper thinking, then you need to know how to organize the information in your head, and so that you can use it more effectively later on in your life. So the fourth one is what we call higher order thinking. The fourth one, you started go into the analyzing. You analyze bits of the information, examining the relationship, and looking at what other kind of new information can you get from there by doing the analyzing process. After that, you connecting. Then you bring something together and to produce a new thing, a new system, and a new phenomenon. So that requires the ability to connect all the other information that is in silo previously. After that, you integrating, and then you produce something new, connecting and combining information, and to better understand the relationships between the information, and maybe to produce something new. Then you compile, putting parts together again, the whole, and to form the whole and building the structure or whatever pattern. Our mind works in patterns. We receive information using VAK. Dr. No, what is V, A, and K? So
So what
V is the visual.
visual? All right.
Yeah. So V is the visual, A is the auditory, the verbal, and K is the feeling, the
Okay.
kinesthetic. They call it kinesthetic. So we receive information in the form of VAKOG. O is the olfactory, which is the smell.
Smell. All right.
G is what they call the gustatory. Gustatory is the how you taste, masin ke, manis ke. So whether it's sweet or sour. So you receive mostly through these five senses, but after that you create your own pattern. Our mind love patterns because the information is huge, and to simplify the process, we will look at the pattern, and then you compile. Then you evaluate the eighth process, evaluating, and lastly generating. So you have eight core skills that you have to incorporate to be able to think effectively. So those are the focusing, number one; second, organizing; third, analyzing; fourth, connecting; fifth, integrating; sixth, compiling; seventh,
Evaluate.
evaluating; and eighth, generating. So at least we know to be able to do that. You develop one by one. Uh, Even the process of focusing to do that might require you 2 days of full time training, for example. So
Yeah.
it's easier said than done. Now we are only explaining you the what, but the how to is a bit more complicated. Not so much because of it is difficult, but so much because we have to break our old habit. So we have to
Oh,
practice. It's not difficult, but our old habit is the hindrance of gathering that. So you have to learn to unlearn. So learn to unlearn, that's the keyword today.
I
So that we can gather new knowledge, new information, and new skills. All right, let's move on. What's the next one? Okay, now the thinking skill. Basically, there's another way of looking how we think. The first one is analytical thinking. So analytical thinking is always on convergent. This is what training in the university is all about. You study bachelor's degree, so you start to do analytical thinking, and we train you very hard to do analytical thinking. We design something. Those requires a lot of analytical thinking. And then you go for master's degree. When you go to master's degree, you start to focus on certain specific field for your thesis in your master's degree. And then it's a convergent process. You go into deeper but smaller field. Then you go for your PhD, even deeper and even smaller field. So this is what we have been trained to do for maybe if you go for degree in the university, 4 years degree, 2 years masters, and another 4 years PhD, for example. Then that's about 10 years. 10 years training of analytical thinking and convergent thinking. There's a lot of time, and that's why sometimes we get hooked up with this kind of thinking process, the convergent thinking, analytical thinking. But in life, there's another thinking process that's very interesting as well that you need, but we never got a formal training on that. Not many. That's the creative thinking or the divergent thinking, meaning you explore other things. You explore and you open up your mind. This is later on we'll look at the slide, like what Edward de Bono mentioned about lateral thinking. You spread, and you know more, and you become creative. You look at something in a new perspective. Like just now, you look at the couple. Now, okay, let's look at the bigger picture. So you can zoom in your thinking, and you can zoom out in your thinking process. So this requires practice, practice again. So does that make sense, Dr. No?
Yeah, obviously we need to actually, this is the things that actually we wanted to see, isn't it? From the big perspective into the narrow perspective.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah. The beauty is now you should be able to go whichever perspective you choose to. Meaning you are not hooked up to one kind of thinking model. This is what we need to train our student to be creative in their work. So they must be able to zoom in, and after that, in 2 minutes, zoom out, so that we can look at the other sides of different perspective in life.
Yeah.
Make sense? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right.
Dato'.
Okay, let's move on. Let's see the next slide. Okay, these are all the left side is the convergent thinking. It's about convergent, invert, analytic, probability, sequence, logical, rational, focus, objective, single answer, and left brain. In engineering, this is what we are doing. I'm an engineer, so I used to think with my left brain, very dominant. But after learning the new knowledge, now I know, okay, we have to be able to be flexible in our thinking process. Yeah.
So we need to say that, Dato', we need to have this the weightage of having this left and right brain must be equal, isn't it?
Balance, that's the keyword.
Right.
Yeah, that's the balance. And the right brain, you see, divergent, outward, generative, possibilities, imagination. This is strong word, imagination. You must be able to utilize your imaginative power. You have to imagine, intuitive, emotional, diffuse, subjective, and there's more answers. Not only one answer, there's a lot of answers that you can use to do that, and you incorporate your right brain. This is what we are talking about just now. You have to be able to zoom in, zoom out. Then you have to go into your left brain and right brain. Does that make sense, Dr. No?
Yeah, absolutely, Dato'. Because of end of the day, we need to see the situation in terms of the holistic view, isn't it?
Yeah. So in life, it's about being able to see things in a holistic manner, not just one-sided or tunnel vision kind of thing. So there's a lot of problem in the world today because of that tunnel vision. So we have to be able to get out of that micro thinking style into a more flexible and overall thinking style, holistic thinking style. This is what I'm trying to share today. Maybe it is something new to our students because they are used to this analytical training, but sometimes we need to explore the other side of the coin, right? All right, next. Okay, just now is the core thinking process. Now 5 essential thinking skills. This is important in our life as a student, as a worker, as a leader, and whatnot. So I coined the acronym there, IDEA, AIDIE. So that's the 5 essentials thinking skills that we need to be able to, at least today, we can appreciate. Yeah, okay, there's such 5 ways of doing the thinking. Yeah, let's see what's the first one. Next. Okay, the first one will be analyze. Okay, we have done this just now. Also, there's a lot of analysis kind of thing there. So to be able to analyze is to separate a whole into its component parts, meaning you see something and you analyze at the micro level. Okay, you zoom into certain domain and you analyze in detail, and to break down the information into pieces in order to better understand later on the overall meaning, to show them the importance of understanding the parts to explain the whole. So now you zoom into the parts, You examine the part, you understand the parts, but don't forget that is to ensure that we know the whole. So not to be carried out, not to be carried over by only on the parts, the micro level. So the macro and the micro has to be balanced. So the keyword just now is balancing, Dr. No, and our audience as well. Yeah. Yeah, the second one will be to interpret, to explain or tell the meaning of whatever you observe, whatever the input that you see. So this is your own interpretation. You give it your perspective on the thing or on the topics or on the subject in your mind. See, this is the bringing out the true meaning as you know it. This is not the hakikat meaning. This is not the ultimate meaning, but the meaning that you give. It's about the meaning that you give. So every people will have their own meaning. So you don't expect other people to have the meaning the same as you, because they will have different meaning, because they are looking at different perspective. Macam tadi lah, gambar tadi tu, they see different thing than you. So here also there's a lot of misconception, as if, oh, you must understand it the way I understand it. Not necessarily, because they have.
Dato', is it interpretations, the meaning itself, it's similar to the philosophy, the belief of that particular person? Is that what you mean?
Right. Yeah, because you have your own filters in your mind. That filters come from your philosophy, your belief system, and the way you have been brought out, your environment, So those are all filters in your mind. And when you look at something, you will filter that something based on your filters. And then you give meaning to it. And this meaning that you give is your map of the world. It is not the world, but it's the map of the world. It is looking, if you go to a restaurant, usually what you ask for, the first thing you ask for when you go into a restaurant, Dr. No?
Okay. Obviously menu.
Exactly.
Yeah, the specialties of the menu for that particular restaurant.
Yeah. The menu is the map of the food available in the restaurant.
Yeah.
It's not the food, but that's the menu. Is a representative of whatever food is available in the restaurant. Similarly, the map in your mind is not the real world. It's the menu of the real world that you give meaning to it. Interesting, right?
Yeah.
So everybody will have different perception. Everybody will have their own world, different than you. So if you appreciate that, your communication with other people become much more harmony, because we appreciate why they are different than us. So that's the second part, the interpretation part. Then the third is the describe. You have to learn the skill of describing what you see. Discourse intended to give a mental image of something experienced. I mentioned to you just now, Dr. No, your mind love pattern, right?
Yeah.
Your mind love pattern. That's your mental image. You see something, you create your own mental image of that something. You talk about something topics, you talk about developing thinkers, for example, you have some image in your mind, okay, what this developing thinker should be like. So you give it meaning, right? So this is creating a mental picture out of all the information that's coming into your mind. So this is describing it. And when you describe it, you are creating your mental movie. You have your mental movie in your mind. All right. So this is interesting. That's why I said, even all these little 5 component of skills need to be trained. You have to do proper training to make yourself good at it, to make yourself good. Because this is not taught in our syllabus, in the engineering syllabus. It is part of it implicitly, but not really being taught in a very formal way of how you develop this analyzing part in a very efficient manner, right? Okay, next, please. Okay, number 4, infer. To derive as a conclusion from facts or premises. To infer meaning to conclude, to give conclusion. Okay, my thinking, my belief is okay. So you give meaning to it. So you infer based on whatever information you have, and finally you evaluate. Is it good or is it bad for me? When you do your evaluation, you are putting judgment to it as well. To determine the significance, the worth, or condition of something. Is it worth? How much does it worth? Is it good? How good is it good? So you give evaluation based on your filters just now, and on your based on the filter that we discussed just now. Based on that, then you make your evaluation based on knowledge and whatever. So those are the 5 element skills in thinking process that you need to master with the formula of idea, idea. So make it simple and sweet. You follow me, Dr. No?
Yeah, obviously. Perhaps, Dato, just can I ask you something?
Go ahead.
Alright. In terms of students nowadays, we have not only nowadays, okay, like myself also lah, when I'm in my previous university, right? So we are having so many assignment with our team member group project,
Yeah.
isn't it? So sometimes we are able to think in that way, in what are you saying? We are describing, we are interpreting the information that we have get. But sometimes the character that we portray, actually, it's not what we think, because we
Yeah.
are having like egoistic, emotionally.
Yeah.
So is it? Yeah, I keep on asking why that people, they know this is a good, this is bad, but why they are doing the same, their character portray, it's not what are they think.
Oh, interesting. Very interesting, Dr. No. But, 95% of your behavior, meaning 95% of your action, are being driven by your emotion, not by what you think. This is research. This is scientific facts.
Fact.
Yeah. So this is from the research that they've done in the human science, in neuroscience. They discover that 95% of your action, your behavior, is being driven by your emotion, not by your thinking process.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So that's why but you still do other things, because you have not managed to master your emotion. Right? So, like for example, this morning when you want to choose what scarf to wear, what tudung to wear,
Yeah.
what color of your tudung should you wear this morning?
Yeah.
That is emotionally driven, not factual. Not the material. It's more about the color. It suits me. Nanti orang nak tengok. Those are all emotional drivers.
Okay, so that why it's more towards emotional things, yeah. All right. Okay.
Not the quality of the scarf.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more about the brand of the scarf, the fashion of the scarf, the coloring. Does it match? All those things are all emotional drivers.
Okay.
Although seems like knowledge, but the hidden layer behind that is your emotion needs to be recognized, needs to look sharp, needs to look pretty, right? So all those things are all emotionally driven.
All right. So meaning to say that if we want to be develop this thing to be a good strategic thinker, we need to actually having the alignment between our emotion.
Yeah. You will never be able. I'm quoting my own slide at the end of the presentation. There is a slide, but I will mention it today and now, because it is in line with what you are saying. You will never be able to control your future self until you control your present self.
Okay.
You will never be able to control your present self until you control your mind.
Ah,
You will never be able to control your mind until you are able to control your thoughts. You will never be able to control your thoughts until you are able to control your words.
all right.
Right? The word that you're speaking. Yeah. You will never be able to control your words until you are able to control your feeling. You will never be able to control your feeling until you are able to control your emotion.
Wow, that's such a beautiful word. Yeah.
Yeah, that drive your life. So if you know the change of reaction from the spark is actually your emotion. Your heart triggers the emotion, right? And
Yeah.
that triggers your feeling. You feel bad, you feel good. That triggers the word that you're saying, oh man, why is it Monday?
Yeah.
Why is it Monday morning? Right? Oh, you say, oh, I'm excited. Today is Monday. Right? So that's the word that you utter. Then the words then affect your thoughts. And there you go. After that, your behavior. Right?
Right.
So that's how you want to control your future self is by controlling your present self.
Thank you,
I hope
doctor.
that's beautiful to you
Yeah,
so that we can.
obviously.
All right. Maybe this is other kind of thing that we need to inculcate to our students. New dimension in looking at the process of thinking rather than. I know there's a lot of books about it. I've written some book as well, but I've seen so many presentation about thinking. Also, it's very straightforward, like what has been mentioned in the book. But today, I will share you a different dimension that makes you feel, okay, I don't know that, right? So probably a new way of looking at things and how you think. Can we move on?
Yeah.
All right. Now again, this is for you, Dr. No, and the audience. Imagine this is a number 508, and this number are being put in by match, mancis.
Manchester,
Lima
right.
batang mancis, right? Lima batang mancis tak. Banyak batang mancis lah.
Uh,
So you are allowed to move and displace two of them, right? So what biggest number can you create? If you are allowed to move two matches, right? Dua batang mancis. What it will be the biggest number that you can create? Okay, within 2 minutes, Doctor No,
all right. Okay.
and the audience, and the audience.
All right. So meaning to say that we need to actually put new number
Move
kan?
to
Oh,
move two matches and create new numbers that and make it the biggest that you can think of. What will be the number? Sekarang ini ada 508. What will be the
yes.
biggest number that you can create?
Okay.
Interesting. The
Interesting.
audience can also take this time to do their own numbers.
Okay. Can I 58? 58?
58 dia jadi nak makin kecil. Ini nak besar, nak besar.
Dia nak besar pula eh?
Lebih daripada 508. Sekarang ni nombor ni ialah 508. The number now is 508. Move two of them and you create a new number that is bigger, much bigger. What's the biggest number you can achieve?
Wow.
Now this is thinking process. This is what we have been talking about, but in the form of practice.
Alright, can we
practice this.
have like 5118? So I will 118.
5118. Yeah, you can have that. That will have 5,118. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Beautiful.
I remove atas, I remove another one. Oh,
Yeah. So, congratulations. You managed to move atas, move bawah.
yeah,
Then you get bigger number, right?
yeah.
Itulah yang dua tu nak letak kat mana? Yang dua batang yang diangkat tu yang letak mana?
Aduh, mak, kena letak kan. Okay.
Ha. Kalau saya letak dekat 5 tu dia jadi 8. Dia jadi 8, 1, 1, 8.
8.
8, 1, 1, 8 kan? Bigger
Ya,
than 5, 1, 1, 8.
betul.
So this will activate your neurons to be connected. All the neuron yang tadi menganggur tadi, we have in our mind we have about 100 billions neurons in our mind. There's a lot of neurons.
Yeah.
100 billion neurons.
Neuron,
So most of the time kita tak guna, dia tak connected, dia menganggur lah. Now when you do thinking, then the new neurons start to be connected. Then you have new connection in your brain. So you will be a different person when you enter this discussion, and after you left this discussion later on, you'll be a different person because new neurons has been connected. At least from this exercise.
Right. Interesting.
Menarik ya?
Menarik.
Interesting ya? Yeah, I guess our audience also will have similar experience that you say. Maybe they have different numbers, but the idea is to make your neurons to be
Working.
active. Yeah, working. Jangan bagi dia menganggur. Right?
Okay.
Alright, let's move on. What's next? Okay, these are all critical thinking lah. Critical thinking. Okay, we are moving into the formal subject matter. Kita dalam engineering ke buat khusus mana-mana biasanya people love to talk about critical thinking. You know, we need to have workers that are able or graduates that are able to do critical thinking. My saying is we have to nanti match this critical thinking process or critical thinking skills with creative thinking skills. Then they become balanced, right? So probably we have to also look at that as well. But for now, on this slide, we look at critical thinking. It's the first process is observation, being able to notice and predict opportunities. You know, by being observant. By being observant, they become an observant person. So you can see opportunities, you can see solutions to whatever problem that's available there. Obviously, second is analysis. We have talked about this just now as well. This is part and parcel of critical thinking process. You do analysis, you gather information and to create new understanding and give interpretation. What you are doing is you're giving your own meaning to the data, to the information that you have. And inference, you conclude, you draw conclusions based on the relevant data. Then you process, and with your filters that you have, then you infer. Inference is the skill. Number 4, there is something you need to be able to master when you want to do critical thinking skills. Which is communication. You share, and the ability to portray your ideas so other people can understand is also important. You know, how do you communicate your idea? Having idea is not good enough. You must be able to sell your idea. So to be able to sell your idea, you must be able to communicate your idea. So convince the other person that your idea is good. So this communication skill is important in your critical thinking process. Obviously, number 5 is all engineering is all about, you know, problem solving. Engineers are supposed to solve technical problem, and then you design something new and all that. So obviously, the problem solving is a process of putting all those things together and to provide, to give this world a better place to live in. That's the job of an engineer, you know, to make this world a better place to live in. You solve a technical problem so that human or masyarakat, society can live better with the new gadget that you design and that you manufacture, making this world better. It's supposed to be like that, but there's a cost to it, right? So what is the cost to the environment? What is the cost to other people? So all these things should be incorporated in your problem solving work. This is why you need to also engulf in the creative thinking process. It's not about solving technical problem per se, but making sure it is holistic solution. It is solution that is green in whatever perspective you look at it. Otherwise the cost is much dearer than the solution. That is unfortunate lah. So obviously this balancing need to be done by our graduates so that they can see the world and their solution as a balanced solution rather than just a micro level solution, but in the bigger picture it is making things worse. So these are the kind of thing that we need to explore, Dr. Noor.
Yeah, obviously. Especially, I think when we talk about communications, because yeah, students are having a tendency to not to really have the confidence to communicate well in terms of
Yeah.
brainstorming their idea. Sometimes
Mm.
they are just assuming by themselves without actually communicate it, right? So
Yeah.
this is the things also that I also embed to my student to so that we can having a interaction and active learning, isn't it, Dato?
Yeah. Very good, very good. Because there's no critical thinking skill without communication.
Yeah.
So we need to do that as well. All right, let's move on. Next, please. Yeah, critical thinking with rational skills. Coherent grouping, ordering. I guess this is straightforward lah. We can use this as our guide. There's berapa ni? 13 elemen in there. And at the end of the day, you make judgment. You must make the right judgment. You from the coherent grouping, set your argument, recognizing and reasoning, analyzing again, assumption, induction, evaluate, recognize, and also structuring, visualizing, and justifying. And akhirnya, at the end of the day, you must make the right judgment. You must make the right decision. You must make the right design for people to benefit from your thinking process. Yeah, that's straightforward, Dr. Noor.
All right. Yeah.
Next, please. I guess this is also straightforward. Divergent and convergent thinking skills are both critical thinking, right? So you zoom in, you zoom out. This is what we call just now divergent and convergent thinking. You can focus at the micro level, and at the same time, you must be able to also focus at the what we call it the macro level as well. Zoom in, zoom out. So convergent, divergent. It is also part of the critical thinking skills. Now I guess Dr. Noor dah boleh lah zoom in, zoom out dah with this experience now.
Yeah. Saya pun dah boleh nampak kan cara nak zoom in and zoom out.
Yeah. With this awareness, with the simple awareness, now Dr. Noor dah feel comfortable dengan cara dia fikir dah, right? Dah boleh adjust macam mana kita fikir kan. Alright, let's see what's the next slide like. This is typical textbook material lah kan. We cannot talk about thinking without mentioning Bloom's taxonomy, right? The level of thinking, the lowest level will be remembering, menghafal, recall what you have been feeded, kita being fed by information. Can you recall? That requires remembering. Understanding is a bit higher. You start to appreciate what is being fed in your mind, and you create your own understanding, making sense out of the information that's given to you. Now with that, you go upward in the taxonomy bloom. You apply, you use that knowledge to solve problem, to calculate what will be the solution, and then come up with the new machine, new gadget, new instrument, new material, or whatever, and applying your knowledge to solve the current problem, using whatever knowledge that we have taught you in class. But the next level lagi dalam taxonomy bloom will be the higher order thinking, what they call higher order thinking. Kalau dekat sekolah ni banyaklah orang sebut kebat kan.
Okay.
So higher order thinking, the hot thinking, HOT, higher order thinking kan. You creating something, you evaluating and you analyzing, and that goes beyond the ordinary kind of knowledge lah. You go beyond. So these are all domain in the critical thinking skill that we have to know, and this is the Bloom's taxonomy that we have to do. When we are a lecturer, we must test our student based on the different layer of knowledge. When you design your exam questions, there must be exam question that is chit chat, test the understanding, test whether they can apply, and test beyond application of creating something new, something that's not there yet. So these are all the requirements when you design your exam question, supposed to be, or project question, so that they are being tested, all the layer of the thinking level based on the Bloom's taxonomy. Anything you want to add, Dr. No?
No, because of based on this Bloom taxonomy as an academician like us, isn't it? So obviously we are applying this one into how we want to construct our questions, isn't it? Questions level for our students.
Yeah, for our students, they must be aware. These are the kind of skill that they must incorporate in their life, and these are the things that they'll be tested in, or they will be taught in the university. This is what it's all about, the university experience. They must understand this. Once they appreciate this, they will love to seek the challenge. Then they don't see problem as problem. They see problem as opportunity to learn. So for students, it's good for them to appreciate this Bloom's taxonomy upfront, and they appreciate why they have to learn and why they have to work hard in school, in the university, right? So they see all this assignment, test, and whatever as a platform to learn new skill, to learn whatever they can learn in the university. All right, next. So these are all the verbs that you have to use in the different domain. So, for example, I quote one column there, the column of knowledge. For example, you define, you identify, you describe, you recognize, you tell, explain, recite, memorize, illustrate, and quote. So these are all in the knowledge domain. If you look at the create domain, the other extreme, the create domain, you design, you modify, you do role play, you develop, you rewrite, you pivot, you modify, again, you collaborate, and you invent, or you write. In engineering, obviously, we used to train our students to do design. You design something based on the fundamental knowledge that we have taught in class. You design something new. All right, next please. So now we go into the creative thinking skills. This is something that we need to incorporate so that the right brain, left brain ke right brain, okay, right brain will be utilized. The neurons dalam the right brain itu akan actively connected. So again, you have to do analytical, obviously, but the most important thing now is to be open-minded. This is the thing that we need to appreciate. Be open-minded. Even if people don't agree with you, it's okay, because they see different thing than you. Maybe there's something new that you can learn from there. So we become open-minded. We become more pleasant to be with, to the to be interacted with. Otherwise, you only think that you are right. So having open-minded is one of the skill that you need to know, to learn, to appreciate in the creative thinking process. Problem solving, obviously. Organization, being able to structure, plan, and see deadlines, so project management, project planning, all of that comes with creative thinking process. So what more important thing right now is the communication as well. Organization combining with the communication is how to blend you and your colleague in a teamwork, in a team. So teamwork is very important right now. No way that we can know all the knowledge in the world and to become expert in all the knowledge. So we need to appreciate others as expert in their own field. You need to appreciate, yeah, we have to learn from other people as well. So combining organization and communication for being able to work in a good team, in a good uh, 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 kumpulan, groups is also important. You must be able to play a role as the leader, and you must also be able to be a good followers at the same time. So in a group, this is very dynamic. Sometimes you have to take charge, you have to become a leader, but sometimes you are okay as a followers. So these are all creative thinking skill that we need to adopt so that we are able to play our role effectively wherever you are as a graduate later on, right? So I guess this is one thing that I need to emphasize as well today, Dr. No.
Yeah, obviously, especially when it comes to open-minded, isn't it, Dato? Right?
Yeah,
So sometimes we need to open all the things that the information that we get, any criticize. For example, sometimes the criticize is not to make me feel to make us feel down, but actually our student needs to know that these are the things of the learning process, isn't
yeah,
it? So
yeah,
when it comes to having a good learning process in our lives, so I think that open-minded is one of the element that is very important, actually.
yeah. Thank you, Dr. No. You mentioned one keyword just now. Being able to take in criticism is important.
Oh yes.
Yeah, being able to see points from criticism is important
Yeah.
because most of us, if we are not trained to be open-minded, we'll be reactive, we will be defensive. When people say something about our idea, we start to be defensive. Sometimes it's better to shut up, just listen. Sometimes the listening activity is much more beneficial. Just listen and take in whatever positive points there is. If you don't like it, it's okay, you don't have to follow, but there might be something that is true or beneficial for you. So the skill to shut up is also important in top creative thinking skill, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, next
Great.
please. All right, these are all obviously a lot of text that you can read. And again, creative thinking is about thinking outside the box. But there are also talk about creative thinking, thinking without the box. There's no box, you just think. So make all the other perspective open to you. uh, People used to say thinking outside the box. There are also talk about thinking without the box. Much better than thinking outside the box, because otherwise you say this is outside the box, this is inside the box. What if there is no box? Just think, right? So um, this is also very very important in our dwelling, in our department or organization. Okay, Dr. Noor,
All right, Dato.
so far you follow.
Yeah, obviously, it's really interesting actually because yeah, this one is the skills that I'm also as an academician should have in terms of when we are dealing with our students as well.
Yeah, very good, very good. Let's see what's next. Yeah,
Okay.
this is about where it combination of the creative thinking skill. Must know, you must identify your resources, whether it's within you or outside of you. So you must also have the motivation. Some people needs internal motivation is enough, but others requires external motivation. So what you need to have in your creativity, yeah, to promote your creativity or to develop your creativity is to know, the creative thinking skills just now, the skills required to do creative thinking. We have exposed them just now. The other thing is to identify your resources. Everybody without exception must have support system.
Yeah.
You must have support system. So this support system will be your resources. You can have more than one support system, meaning you have more than one components, obviously. But sometimes the resources will be outside your body. Your mom, your family, your friends, your lecturer, your mentor, your coach, blah blah blah. Right? So you must have that support system resources. And sometimes the resources is within you. The power, the ability to talk, the ability to think, the ability to emotionalize, to feel, and the ability to take action. Those are your internal resources. Sometimes we don't realize that we have to use our internal resources. You have the ability to think, so think. You have the ability to emotionalize, so emotionalize. You have the ability to talk, so talk. You have the ability to take action. So know your resources. Then motivation. Like I said just now, some people internal motivation is enough, but some people they need external motivation. They need that. So this is important, Dr. No, to realize, to become creative in life, we must incorporate or blend these three things together. Then you might become a creative person. Innovation versus creativity. Creativity is coming up with new ideas, new thinking, new things, new whatever. But innovation is bringing that new ideas to life.
Yeah.
We can have 100 new ideas, brilliant ideas, but only one will materialize. Only one will be successful because innovation requires a lot of other process to come in. So having creative ideas is only the beginning. Some people, when they have good creative ideas, they thought that's the end. No, that's the beginning. Because from 100 good ideas, maybe one will make it. The rest might not make it in the real world. So be aware of that. The difference between creativity and innovation. Dr.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
you follow me so far?
Yeah, obviously Dato. Yeah, because of I love to heard in terms of a support system,
Yeah,
right? Because yeah, as a student, they need to know that who are the people that they are having mingle surrounding in their
yeah,
surrounding. So
yeah,
that's very important for them to make sure that they influence them, especially when they are having like a decision that they have to make, isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you look at our student in the university, most of the problematic students are due to lack of resources.
Yeah.
If you
Obviously,
look
that's
at the student that have having problem in their life, I used to do motivation for my students. I used to conduct motivation session during the weekends,
okay.
voluntarily during my younger days, right? As a young lecturer, although I'm still young today. So,
Of course, that
and so most of the time, the problematic students are due to they don't know how to exploit their resources.
yeah.
They don't have a good support system. So the first thing in solving a problematic student is to make them realize they have people that can support them. They have the power internally and they have the resources externally as well. So with that, that will help them to get out of their problem. So I guess this can be used to motivate our student, Dr. No.
Yeah, obviously.
All right, what's next? Sorry, next please. All right, see, oh, patah balik. Okay, ini Edward de Bono, you know the very famous six thinking hats, dulu dia buat lah, lateral thinking, dia kata. But creative thinking tips, the need to be right all the time is the biggest bar to the new ideas. You know, you cannot think that you are always right. You know, you must think like, okay, maybe my idea is not that good enough, so start to listen. If you wait for opportunities to occur, you will be one of the crowd. So you cannot wait for opportunities to occur. You must create your own opportunities, or you must be very opportunist in that sense. If you can change your perception, you can change your emotion, and this can lead to new ideas. Yeah, change your emotion, change your perception. Break out of established patterns. Again, seek out new patterns in life. Reason can only sort out perceptions, but the humor can change them. So sometimes you have to create joke. Be alive. Be normal person. So we need some good humor sometimes in life, so that to make our brain relax as well. Feel good and all that. Focus on things that are normally taken for granted. Which, like I said, you have resources, you ignore your resources, then you face problem. So don't take things for granted. Your lecturer, your mom, your friends, your brother, your sisters, they are all there to help you. So again, don't take things for granted. Sometimes we took things for granted and we thought, okay, nobody cares about me. There are people who cares, right? It is a powerful source of creativity, actually, knowing that you have support. People will help you if you are in trouble. So knowing that give you the confidence to go further, Okay, next, please. All right, Dr. No, now we go into the things that will block you. the 5 barriers that will block your creativity and positive thinking. We need to know this because you are your own enemy. In fact, you are your worst enemy. So if you identify this, maybe this will. The first one is negative attitude. We have old habit. We have all, aku ni memang pemarah lah. That is your negative attitude. Aku ni memang suka tidur lah. Aku ni memang suka lepak-lepak lah. That is your negative attitude. You must get that managed. You get rid of that. So you must manage that.
Right.
To the tendency to focus on negative aspect of problem and expend energy on the worry. You worry, you spend your energy in the negative direction. Wherever your focus goes, energy flows. You focus on the positive thing, the energy will flow into the positive. You focus on negative things, the energy will go into the negative thing. So it's your choice. Your choice. All right, that's the first one. Next. Second one is the fear of failure. Kita memang takut fail lah, kan? It's okay to fail. You fail fast, you learn fast. In life, that's the only way to learn. Learn by starting early. Learn by failing early, so that you can rectify early in your life as well. So don't be afraid of failure. Berani gagal, right? So this will also hinder your progress. The third one is the executive stress. Apa dia executive stress? Kita banyak homework lah, kita ada banyak kerja lah bos bagi. Kita ada banyak assignment lah, lecturer ni bagi assignment, lecturer tu bagi assignment. Sampai kan we don't have time to reflect. You must force that time. Every day, at least you must take about 15 minutes to half an hour to step back, just to relax and look at your life step back from the micro level, because when you are busy firefighting, when you are busy doing the micro assignments and all that, we are doing homework assignment ke bos bagi ke pensyarah bagi ke, you are too busy in the micro level. You need to step back and look at the macro level. What is the bigger picture here? It is about for me to learn. It is about for me to help other people. It's about for me to fulfill my responsibility. That gives you a different perspective in life. So sometimes you have to get out of this executive stress. Step back. The word is step back. What do you think, Dr. No?
Yeah. For me, myself, I just see that every single thing happens to me. Yeah, there is a silver lining lah. Ada hikmah for me.
Yeah.
Right? So, kalau ada banyak kerja pun, I think, oh, this one, kenapa benda tu datang? Because of there's a thing yang saya perlu belajar, I perlu improve.
Right. Very good. Saya nak ajar something. Ini tak ada dalam skrip. Dia tiba-tiba datang ni, sekarang datang. Saya ajar. Ya, to step back, tarik nafas 5 saat,
Okay.
tahan nafas 5 saat, lepas nafas 5 saat. Repeat 3 kali. Tarik.
Okay.
Tahan dalam perut 5 saat. Lepas ikut mulut 5 saat.
Okay.
Tarik ikut hidung lagi 5 saat. Tahan dalam perut 5 saat lagi. Lepas 5 saat. One more time, tarik. Tahan. Lepas.
Okay.
Apa rasa, Dr. Noh?
Relax.
Kepala rasa apa?
Ringan sikit.
Ringan, right? That's the
Yeah.
keyword, ringan. So maknanya kita step back. Tadi dah micro level, dah berat. Step back, ringan. So maknanya kita punya minda balance. So I guess to our audience, boleh pakai terus. 5, 5, 5. Dan at least kita ada teknik untuk step back.
Step back.
Apa guna step back ni? Is to break state. Kalau tengah stress, dia break. Relax kejap. Recharge. Handphone pun kena recharge tiap hari. Ini pula minda.
Betul.
Kan? Handphone pun kena recharge tiap hari. Minda lagi lah. Okay. Next, please. Following rules, obviously lah kan. This is the way we do it. Habis lah. Tak adalah creativity lah. So sometimes, tengoklah juga kan. Within, ada rule yang fundamental, kita tak boleh break. Tapi ada rule yang kita kena tengok yang allow for creativity, kita boleh ni. So this one you have to follow your wisdom lah kan, to know. Ada pula yang langsung kena ikut macam tu saja, tak ada creativity langsung pula ya. This is the way we do it. Habis lah. That's it. No creativity. Making assumption, always check your assumption. You know, your assumption sometimes, bukan sometimes, most of the times are wrong. Ya, your assumption most of the time. Kalau tak percaya, cuba tengok apa berlaku kepada Nokia, apa berlaku kepada Motorola, apa berlaku pada Polaroid. Ini nama gah dulu Nokia, Motorola dan Polaroid. Ini semua nama-nama gah dulu. Tapi dia assume the world will not change. They assume people will always need them. Sekarang tak ada dah. Right? So, make sure your assumption is changing all the time. You make sure you recheck your assumption, right? And then over reliance on logic. Semua benda kena logic. Dalam dunia ni ada banyak benda tak logic. Right? Dalam dunia ni banyak benda tak logic. So if you follow logic, dan yang tadilah analysis paralysis. Analyze, lelah tak jadi buat. Right? So we have to be aware of that. Ini 6 perkara that will hindrance your progress in doing whatever needs to be done. Dr. No, anything to add?
Okay, so far I think sangat bagus ni Dato', at least kan. At least in terms of making assumptions lah. that one is something that is we cannot just assume people tak boleh nak assume semua benda tu like what we are thinking, isn't it, Dato'?
Yeah.
So most of us lah, okay, perhaps our students lah, bila they are having their group project, basically selalu datang kepada kami kalau lecturer lah, kita pun they always cakap kenapa dia tak ikut apa yang saya cakap, kenapa dia tak ikut apa yang so that's the things lah. So from now on we need to ensure that kita kena fikir that everyone mungkin tak boleh nak assume yang semua orang fikir like what we are think.
Yeah. Right? Dia orang ada dunia dia sendiri.
Yeah.
So we learn to have now is empathy lah. Empathy is the new buzzword in the IR 4.0 punya era ni, empathy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. You have empathy, you have the chance to climb up the ladder. Right? Empathy is the new soft skill that everybody aspires to be successful must have. Right? Must have. Okay, next please. So, kita dah bincang tadi the core thinking skill, the 5 essential skill. Kita dah bincang critical thinking, kita dah bincang creative thinking, but now I'm going into other dimension pula, you know, the conscious, the subconscious, and the divine, you know. So because the conscious mind is about 12% dia punya power, 12% power. You not go beyond, you go have to incorporate your subconscious mind, which is 88%. So the divine tu lagi tinggi lah, ya. Ini saya ambil daripada ustaz. Ada ustaz lah, dia bagi ceramah, saya pinjam lah dia punya material tu kan. Bukan yang ni, yang nak datang ni, saya nak cerita ni. Tak dalam skrip, dia tiba-tiba datang dalam minda ni. Ya. Orang pandai adalah orang yang belajar, dia jadi pandai. Ya. Apa beza orang pandai, orang bijaksana dan orang berhikmah? So ini kata ustaz lah kan, kata ustaz tu, saya pinjam lah cakap dia. Orang pandai, dia belajar, dia jadi pandai. Orang bijaksana adalah orang yang pandai, dia belajar, dia pandai, daripada proses belajar dia pandai, dan dia ada pengalaman. Dia ada pengalaman dalam bidang-bidang tu. So, pengalaman campur belajar jadi bijak. Jadi orang bijaksana. Pengalaman campur belajar, campur pandai, jadilah bijaksana dan bijak sini. Dan orang yang berhikmah pula adalah orang yang tadinya belajar jadi pandai, dan dia ada pengalaman, dia kerja dan dia praktis, dia ada pengalaman, jadi belajar, pandai, campur pengalaman daripada praktis, dia jadi bijaksana. Campur dengan takwa, dia jadi orang yang berhikmah. Jadi pandai, bijak, dicampur, kita insyaAllah campur dengan takwa, insyaAllah jadi orang yang berhikmah. Macam Luqmanul Hakim kan, kata-katanya penuh dengan hikmah. Jadi inilah formula yang mungkin conscious, subconscious, divine, kita boleh cultivate lah the subconscious. So, saya belajar NLP dan Neuro Linguistic Programming is about bukan manipulating lah, it's about programming consciously your subconscious mind. So the skill of reprogramming your subconscious mind make you very powerful. Because dia 88% of the power capacity. Yang conscious mind 12% maximum. So jadi if you learn how to manage your subconscious mind, you become very powerful person lah. You manage yourself. So that is the field of Neuro Linguistic Programming. InsyaAllah. Itu cerita lain lah. So, next please. Alright, ni contoh conscious mind 5 ke 10% dia kata. So maximum is 12% based on research. Then kita ada subconscious mind, 50 to 60% the capacity, and kita ada the unconscious mind. So these are all your brain, and according to those different level, dia punya gamma and beta wave for the conscious mind. Bila you tarik nafas, you relax, you dah turunkan dia kepada alpha atau theta wave, the brain wave tu. So you dah boleh masuk ke dalam your subconscious mind. And the unconscious mind ni biasanya dalam hypnotism lah, hypnotism dia ada, atau you dalam deep sleep you go into your unconscious mind, which is about 30 to 40% lah, yang control you punya degupan jantung, yang control you punya pernafasan and all that are all the unconscious mind and subconscious mind level lah. Alright, so these are all the things that we need to appreciate as well, on how to manage your mind, your analytical, your reasoning, your logical, and your intellectual. The 4 domain of thinking, and how you go into deep going into your subconscious mind is also important, because that is the driver of your behavior. The driver of your behavior is in the subconscious mind. Apa kata Carl Jung? Carl Jung kata, until you make your unconscious conscious, it will dictate your life, and you will take it as fate.
Okay.
Saya ulang suara. Kata dia, until you make your unconscious conscious, it will dictate your life, and you will take it as fate. Dalam bahasa Melayunya, sehingga kita menjadikan minda separa sedar kita sedar, ia akan memacu hidup anda, dan anda akan menganggapnya sebagai takdir. Saya macam ni lah, saya nak buat macam mana kan, saya dah cuba, saya macam ni lah kan. Saya sampai sini je lah, tak boleh nak buat apa dah. Itu because you don't know how to manage your subconscious mind. Right?
Because
So itu maksud dia. Ya, redha je lah kan, saya dah cuba. Saya dah cuba dah nak buat macam mana, memang saya macam ni lah. Saya masih ingat lagi zaman saya sekolah tu kan. Bagus lah kau dapat result yang bagus. Kawan saya kata. Tapi aku macam ni lah kan, nak buat macam mana, aku dah cuba. Sebenarnya, perkataan aku dah cuba tu hanya untuk rasa, supaya conscious mind kita rasa comfortable. Supaya kita tak rasa bersalah. But if you know how to manage your subconscious mind, you kata, betul ke saya dah cuba 100%? Saya dah cuba 100% ke daripada saya punya capacity? Saya dah guna ke resources yang saya ada? Saya dah guna ke kuasa memikir yang saya ada? Saya dah guna ke kuasa beremosi yang saya ada? Saya dah guna ke kuasa bercakap yang saya ada? Dan saya dah guna ke kuasa bertindak yang saya ada untuk saya berjaya? Saya dah guna ke 100%? Then you start to feel, different. Right? So that's how you provoke your subconscious mind. Dengan 4 soalan tadi, sudahkah saya guna kuasa 4 yang ada tadi 100% to my capacity, to the potential? Kalau you guna, confirm jadi orang berjaya. Right? Because itulah sunnatullah. Sunnatullahnya macam tu. Siapa yang usaha, siapa yang bersungguh-sungguh, siapa yang guna capacity semua ada, dan dengan doa yang dia ada, dengan Allah izin, itu sunnatullah, itulah dia orang yang berjaya. Kebanyakan orang yang tak berjaya sebab dia tak cuba 100%, dia cuba 20%. Dia kata aku dah cuba, tapi what percentage? Cuba ranking kan dia. Dari 1 sampai 10 berapa ranking? Mungkin 2, 3. You kena buat 9, 10 semua tu. 9, 10 baru boleh jadi berjaya. Alright, Dr. Noor?
Yeah, we need to say that we need to fully utilize all these resources, capability that we have, isn't it? And put in place everything.
Yeah. Okay. That's the way to be successful. Alright, saya bagi saya punya nota. Next slide. Saya punya nota personal ni. Ini ilmu mahal ni. Ini ilmu mahal. What you will get in life, success, is ada 2 domain saja yang anda kena control. You very clear of what you want. Nombor 1. and you believe what you want, you can get it. Di mana dia overlap, that is what you get in life.
Okay.
So if you want more, you must increase the overlapping. The best is 100% overlap. Maknanya dua circle ni dia 100% overlap. You are very clear of what you want, and you are confident, you believe you will get what you want. So in life, where these two circles overlap, that is what you get in life. Because this is the conscious and the unconscious mind. The knowing what you want is about the conscious mind. It's about, about the doing the right thing, the thing right. That is consciously doing the thing right. It's about the willpower. You must have the willpower. Yes, I want this. Yes, I want this, and I really want this. That is again motivation. You motivate. You motivate yourself, and you have strategic planning. You have strategy, and you have the info. You have the knowledge. Tapi semua ni is about your conscious mind. That 12% tadi. You have to incorporate your subconscious mind yang 88% power tadi. Ni ramai orang tak tahu. So, this is the unconscious mind. This is how you manage your unconscious mind. This is how you program your, ada yang kata subconscious, ada yang kata unconscious lah. Samalah tu ya, lebih kurang dalam konteks kita. This is about the right thing. Tadi doing the thing right. Now is doing the right things. This is about creativity. This is about visualization. You visualize. Cuba bayangkan diri you yang berjaya dulu besok. Boleh tak bayangkan diri you yang berjaya akan datang? If you can visualize it very clearly, you will get it. Ya, tadi ingat tak saya kata you will never be able to control your future self until you control your present self. Ingat saya kata tadi kan? So the way to know what your future self is by visualizing your future self. You visualize your future self, right? The power of visualization is creating the culture, budaya kerja yang baik, habit, tabiat yang baik. This is all happening at the subconscious level. And to give meaning, what is the meaning that you give? Why are you doing all this thing? Why are you studying? Why are you working very hard? Give high meaning. Give ultimate meaning in doing what you do. That is what's important in life. So incorporating your conscious mind and subconscious mind, bringing it together and balancing this. That's making your life will be very successful, inshallah, in the future. Okay, next please. Okay, this is what I said just now. The way to control your future self is to control your present self. The way to control your present self is to control your mind. And the way to control your mind is to control your focus. The way to control your focus is to control your thoughts. And the way to control your thoughts is to control your words. And the way to control your words is to control your emotion. This is very strong rangkaian kata-kata for you to utilize. All right, move on. Next please. Okay, kita ada here is the standardized tools available. Ada banyak buku-buku yang akan explain this. You can search lah. This is mind mapping. Those are the tools that you can use to help you to be a better thinker, to be more creative. Ya, peta minda dalam bentuk urutan kita nampak sebelah kiri atas tu. Peta minda dalam bentuk lakaran sebelah kanan atas. Kita ada teknik fishbone. We have fishbone technique. Ishikawa diagram, ni semua teknik-teknik dalam textbook yang biasa. You won't miss it lah kalau you baca buku-buku motivasi. This thing will be there. Dan kita ada that 5W1H. Ini mungkin Dr. Nur marah lah kalau sebut. Kita ada 5 wives and 1 husband punya teknik. Okay, kita ada Nak senang ingat kan, 5 wives, 1 husband. Who, what, where, when, why. Lepas tu, 1 how. So remember, always ask yourself, who will benefit from my work? Who will be interested from my work? What is it all about? What is the thing that I want to work on? Where is this relevant? How is this applicable? How to do it? How is it beneficial? When is it good? When is it beneficial? And why do I do this? Why should people learn this? Why should people listen to me? Why is it important for them to know this? So you always ask yourself this 5W 1H. That makes you very creative. You explore different perspective in life, and you see the thing in a very holistic manner rather than just, kalau kita dalam micro level ni, most likely kita akan fokus on the what question saja. What is all about and how to do it. So usually at the micro level, we go into the how and the what. At the macro level, the higher level, we go into the why. Why is it important? Why is it good for you? Why is it important for them? Why do they need to do this? So different layer of questioning will explore and open up new doors, open up new opportunities for you. So that's how you become creative. All right, Dr. No, you are with me?
Yeah, of course.
All right, let's move on. Berfikir di luar kotak, saya dah kata tadi kan? Berfikir tanpa kotak is the new buzzword. What if there's no kotak? So, macam mana you akan berfikir? Kalau tak ada kotak, macam mana you akan fikir? So, dia akan keluar macam-macam kita boleh terima, dan you become very creative lah and innovative later on. Okay, next. So, ini adalah faedah kepada organisasi, kepada proses-proses inovasi dan kreativiti, sistem dan cara kerja yang bagus, penciptaan nilai atau value creation, memperbaiki sistem, proses dan cara kerja, kemudian mengeratkan hubungan, memupuk kerjasama, meningkatkan daya saing, meningkatkan sistem pencapaian dan penyampaian. So, these are the benefit that you receive in the organisation lah. I guess bagi saya lah, this is common sense lah, right? Bagi saya. So, I don't want to dwell more about this. Let's move on. Next. Alright, this is also important. Tadi Dr. No, you are your worst enemy. Ingat tak saya kata tu? You are your worst enemy. So, mindset is what separates the best from the rest. Right? It's about your mindset. Set minda adalah perkara yang memisahkan antara yang terbaik dengan yang lain-lainnya. So, first thing is to manage your mindset. This is the key here. Yang tadi tu creativity thinking, apa lagi, critical thinking, itu adalah tools. Itu tools. Tapi kalau mindsetnya salah, pakailah tool apa pun tak jadi ya.
Betul.
So betulkan mindset dulu, baru datang tools. Baru guna tools. Right? Okay, next. None can destroy iron but its own rust can. Likewise, no one can destroy a person but his or her own mindset can. Okay, Dr. No, what do you gather from this picture?
Yeah, from this picture, what I can see is that actually we need to really really focus on what are we expect based on our mindset. Alright, we need to see that the expectation and then the mindset must align with whatever that we expect.
Yeah.
So that the people that we are working with or the people that are we dealing with, so mereka akan sama-sama mengikut apa yang kita mahulah. Basically, this is what I'm trying to just elaborate.
Menarik, sangat menarik. It give us a new dimension in looking at things, Kalau kita ada masalah pun kita tak depressed because our mindset dah betul. Kalau mindset kita tak betul, benda tak ada masalah pun jadi masalah.
Yeah, obviously. Betul.
Right. Kalau mindset kita tak betul, masalah kecil pun jadi besar.
Betul.
Kalau mindset kita betul, dalam masalah kita nampak opportunity. Dalam masalah kita nampak peluang. Kalau mindset kita betul, set minda kita betul. If your mindset is right, within problems you can see solution, you can see opportunities. But if you don't have the right mindset, even small problem become big problems.
Okay.
There's a lot of stories, there's a lot of example that I can give you, but due to time constraint, we don't have the luxury of listening to the story. Right?
Wow.
All right, let's move on. What's next?
Alright.
So we now go into, ini dipelopori oleh Profesor Carol Dweck. Kita ni terbahagi kepada dua jenis pemikiran lah. Whether kita ada growth mindset atau fixed mindset. Kebanyakan orang yang berjaya, most of the successful person, dia ada growth mindset. Dia ada growth mindset. Dan kebanyakan orang yang tak berjaya, dia ada fixed mindset. So nanti kita kena buat test lah. Kita akan buat test. Mungkin kita test dengan Dr. Noor dulu. Ya, dia dekat growth mindset ke dekat fixed mindset.
Okay.
So kalau orang yang ada growth mindset, with people with growth mindset, this is what we want. We will have, we believe skills and knowledge can be developed. Kita boleh jadi orang pandai kalau kita belajar. Itu contohnya. Kita boleh jadi orang yang mahir kalau kita practice. So dia ada that belief system dalam orang yang ada growth mindset. Dia tak ada orang tu dilahirkan pandai. Oh dia bolehlah dia pandai. Tak ada. Dia pandai sebab dia rajin belajar. Habis cerita. Dia mahir sebab dia rajin practice. Habis cerita. Right? Yang lain semua kita ada sama resources kita sama jadi 4 tadi. Sama resources yang kita ada. Kita boleh berfikir, kita boleh beremosi, kita boleh bercakap, kita boleh bertindak. Itu semua orang ada. Those are the only things that you need to be successful in life. Amazing the 4 power that you have. Kemudian focus on getting better at what they do. Walaupun dah bagus, dia nak jadi better lagi. Ini growth mindset. Dia tak ada, okay lah aku dah buat bagus lah, cukup lah tu. Itu fixed mindset. Growth mindset lagi ialah dia invite challenge. Dia suka challenge. Give me challenge. Give me something for me to do. Bagi saya assignment. Dia suka assignment. Kalau yang fixed mindset, jangan bagi aku kerja. Aku tak nak kerja. Nanti aku letih. Orang yang growth mindset, dia kata, okay, give me work, give me challenge because I can learn from that exercise. Dia boleh belajar. Saya boleh belajar dengan buat benda ni, nanti saya pasti boleh belajar benda something baru. Walaupun saya gagal, saya mungkin akan belajar satu benda yang baru. Ini growth mindset. Dia berani gagal. Dan dia tak compete dengan orang lain. Dia compete with themselves. Saya boleh jadi lagi baik. Saya boleh jadi lagi baik. Saya lagi baik. Walaupun dah juara, saya lagi juara. Nak juara lagi. Perfection lagi. So, kita sentiasa ada room for improvement bagi orang yang growth mindset. Boleh? Dr. Noor, can you? Boleh. Alright. Ya?
Boleh, can.
Okay.
Kita nak buat test. Do we have
okay.
test?
Ya, lepas ni kita ada test. Silakan, next slide. Alright, so kita boleh buka file untuk testing dan Dr. Noor boleh inilah, audience pun boleh buat dan kita akan eksperimen dengan Dr. Noor. Ready Dr. Noor? Ada kertas?
Okay, ada.
Okay, you ada kertas, you ada pensel. Okay, mulakan sekarang. Buat full page nampak tak? Dr. Noor nampak ke tu?
Itulah saya kurang nampak, mungkin boleh
boleh besarkan tak? Boleh besarkan tak? Okey, saya cuba bacakan. Dr. Noor.
Alright.
You buat ada 5 kolom. 5 kolom, maknanya kolom memanjang. Daripada atas ke bawah ada buat 5 kolom.
Okey.
5 kolom Dr. Noor.
Okay.
Sama besar pun tak apa.
Okay, dah. Done.
Okey. Kolom yang pertama, you just tulis dekat situ, dia punya tajuk besar dia dekat atas sekali ialah soalan.
Okay.
Kolom yang pertama, tajuk atas dia ialah soalan. Kolom yang kedua, sangat setuju.
Okay.
Kolom ketiga, setuju. Kolom keempat tak setuju. Kolom kelima sangat tak setuju. Boleh faham ya Dr. Noh?
Boleh. Boleh faham.
Alright, dah tulis ya?
Dah. Dan
Okey. Alright, so soalan pertama, jangan salin soalan Dr. Noh.
okay.
You dengar saya sebut, then you tanda. You sangat setuju ke, you setuju ke, you tak setuju ke, you sangat tak setuju. You tanda kat mana yang selesa dengan you, yang paling dekat dengan you. Boleh ya?
Boleh.
Alright, soalan pertama. Kejujuran adalah sifat asas tentang diri anda yang tak boleh diubah dengan banyak. Kejujuran pula dah. Kepintaran adalah sifat asas tentang diri anda yang tak boleh diubah dengan banyak. Tanda jawapan you?
Okay.
Nombor 2.
Perlu cakap kan?
Ya?
Perlu cakap ke apa saya punya jawapan?
Tak apa. You tanda je dulu kat mana.
Saya tanda Alright. Saya dah
Tanda je. Tanda saja. Okey? Tanda kolom mana yang setuju dengan yang paling dekat dengan you. Soalan nombor 2, tak payah salin soalan. Tak kira berapa tinggi pun kepintaran anda, ianya sentiasa masih boleh diubah. Dr. Noh?
Okay, dan
Nombor 3, anda sentiasa boleh mengubah tahap kepintaran diri anda dengan banyak.
okay.
Nombor 4, anda ada sifat kepribadian tertentu dan agak sukar untuk mengubah keadaan ini.
Okay.
Nombor 5, anda boleh mengubah perkara asas tentang sifat kepribadian diri anda.
Okay.
Nombor 6, bakat muzik boleh dipelajari oleh setiap orang.
Okay.
Nombor 7, hanya sedikit orang yang boleh mahir dalam sukan. Anda perlu ada bakat semula jadi.
Okay.
Nombor 8, matematik jadi lebih mudah untuk dipelajari oleh orang lelaki atau mungkin datang dari budaya yang menghargainya.
Okay.
Nombor 9, lebih rajin anda mengerjakan sesuatu perkara, anda akan jadi lebih mahir dalam pekerjaan itu.
Right.
10, tak kira anda jenis orang apa, anda sentiasa boleh berubah dengan banyak.
Okay.
11, mencuba sesuatu yang baru membuatkan saya stres dan saya hindarinya.
Okay.
12, ada orang yang baik hati dan ada yang tidak. Jarang sekali orang berubah.
Right.
Dr. Noh?
Okay, boleh. Proceed, Datuk.
Nombor 13, saya menghargai bila ibu bapa, coach, guru memberi maklum balas tentang prestasi saya.
Okay.
14, biasanya saya menjadi marah bila saya dapat maklum balas tentang prestasi saya.
Alright.
Nombor 15, semua manusia tanpa kecederaan atau kecacatan otak mempunyai keupayaan yang sama untuk belajar.
Okay.
16, anda boleh belajar benda baru tapi anda tidak boleh mengubah tahap kepintaran diri anda.
Okay.
17, anda boleh buat banyak perkara dengan cara berbeza, tapi perkara utama tentang kepribadian diri anda sebenarnya tidak boleh diubah.
Okay.
18, manusia pada asasnya adalah baik tapi kadang-kala membuat keputusan yang sangat teruk.
Okay.
19, sebab utama kenapa saya buat kerja sekolah adalah saya suka belajar perkara baru.
Okay.
20. Orang yang benar-benar pintar tak perlu usaha dengan kuat.
Alright.
Sudah Dr. Noh?
Sudah.
Alright, sekarang turun apa ni? Next page please, next page. Okay. Dr. Noh,
Okay.
melalui page ni, dalam setiap soalan tadi, kat mana anda tanda bagi markah according to template tu? Berapa markah anda dapat?
Okay.
Based on kat mana anda tanda?
Alright, boleh?
Okay, tulis markah anda untuk setiap soalan.
Okay. Okay, boleh ke bawah kan? 17 2. Okay, done.
Dan campur semua?
Dah. Campur semua
Berapa?
Okay.
Berapa markah?
Campur jap. Forty.
Wow, 40?
40. 40 kat
So,
mana?
Dr. Noh, you ada growth mindset, tapi ada sikit-sikit ciri fixed mindset.
Okay.
So, there's room for improvement.
Yeah.
So, at least you are at the top yang kedua ke atas lah tu, kan?
40
So, your dominant state adalah growth mindset. Tapi you ada some element of fixed mindset yang perlu
fix tu kan yang perlu di-provide.
Yeah, so saya percaya audience kita pun membuat juga apa yang Dr. Noh buat tadi, dan dari situ kita muhasabah diri dan kita tahu peluang-peluang untuk pengembangan diri pada masa akan datang lah. Alright, agak menarik ya Dr. Noh, tahniah, anda adalah growth mindset.
Okay, now I know that there's ruang lah for me to actually look at myself, whether there's a thing yang boleh untuk di-improve. Thank you so much, Dato'.
Yeah, saya pun lebih kurang Dr. Noh je. So kita nampak diri kita dan kita nampak macam mana kita boleh improve ourselves lah, kan. This is good exercise untuk apa ni. Okay, next please. Okay, yang ni je saya nak discuss sekarang ni. Ada dua lagi slide yang saya nak discuss. Yang ini saya ambil dari satu post yang saya pernah buat dalam Facebook saya. Kalau nak follow my Facebook, Jailani Muhammad Noh. Ya, boleh follow lah. So saya pernah share formula ni pada tahun berapa ni ya, tak nampak lah. 24 Disember last year kot. Disiplin memacu kejayaan. You nak berjaya, you kena disiplin. Ilmu memacu fikiran, thinking. You want to do a good kind of thinking, you need knowledge. So ilmu memacu fikiran. Yakin memacu tindakan. Kita akan buat bila kita yakin kita betul, atau kita yakin ada keyakinan tinggi baru kita buat something. So emosi memacu kelakuan. So ada 4 yang kita perlu kawal. dan formulanya ialah dia. Tadi formula tadi atas formula ialah idea. Sekarang formulanya ialah dia. Dekat-dekat je bunyi kan. DIYE. Disiplin, ilmu, yakin, emosi. So manage 4 perkara ini, insya-Allah anda akan berjaya. Dan if you want to follow my Facebook, you can follow Jailani Muhammad Noor. Jarang saya post, tapi saya post benda-benda macam ni je lah. Tak adalah saya post apa yang saya makan pagi tadi, itu tak ada lah. Itu tengok orang lain punya post lah. Okay, next. Next. Yang ini kita hari ni mungkin tak sempat nak evaluate. Cuma jangan dengan cepatnya, kalau kita nak jadi orang berjaya, kita kena lalu banyak zone. Ya? Keluar daripada comfort zone, pergi kepada fear zone. Itu normal. Jangan takut. Biasa. Lepas pada fear zone, baru you sampai ke learning zone. Zone belajar. Lepas pada learning zone ni, baru you masuk kepada growth zone. Tadi kita kena growth mindset kan? Jadi, Dr. Noor, kalau kita nak pergi kepada growth zone, kita kena keluar daripada comfort zone. We must go and explore the fear zone and the learning zone. So this is in short. Nak explain mungkin perlu lebih sedikit masa, but I guess you get the gist of it lah, Dr. Noor. Dan kita punya audience yang lain-lain boleh ambil ini sebagai iktibar. Boleh?
Boleh. Obviously
boleh.
Can.
Yes. Next. Alright, Dr. Noor. Nampak kotak ni? This is our last exercise. This is our last exercise. Nampak tak kotak ni, Dr. Noor?
Ya, nampak.
Okay, dinding warna hijau tu, dia ada dekat belakang ke kat depan? Cuba besarkan gambar tu. Okay, dinding tu, yang hijau tu ada di belakang atau di depan, Dr. Noor?
Okay, from my side, from my seeing and my side is that I rasa the green one tu berada di belakang.
Alright. Sekarang Dr. Noor, apa yang saya nak you buat ialah bayangkan dinding itu adalah dinding yang transparent.
Okay. Alright.
Dan dia ada di depan sebenarnya. Bawa dia ke depan dan dia transparent. Cuba bayangkan. Tengok. Dia keluar, dia ke depan tak?
Alright.
Ha?
Maksudnya dia transparent and then dia akan ke depan lah kan?
Yes. Boleh nampak?
Yeah.
So, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Betul. Obviously.
That's life. That's life. So, in life, ada banyak masa kita kena tukar cara kita tengok sesuatu benda untuk melihat dari perspektif yang berlainan. Boleh dapat saya, Dr. Noor? Dan audience yang lain? Boleh follow?
Boleh. Betul.
Good. That's, I guess, my last slide. Next one, please. Thank you for being with me. I've enjoyed the session. I hope you enjoyed the session as much as I enjoyed the session. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, obviously, Dato', we are so happy, and I think that audience and even students that are being a participant for this session will get enlightened, what we call knowledge that and skills that you are giving to us actually. And then I think that student can actually from this talk, I think that not even student but myself also can create a rational and sensible argument about what it's all about in terms of how we want to think, okay, to change our perspective obviously, and then how we want to actually look at someone perceptions toward us and make it change it in a positive way basically.
Yeah. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts, to share what I've known, and I'm really excited today. I'm really glad that we have this session and I learned something from you as well. So thank you very much. Thank you UTM as well.
All right, thank you. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much to our honorable and amazing speaker just now, our Professor Dato' IRTS Dr. Muhammad Jailani bin Muhammad Noor. For me, that this is a very fruitful and very beautiful talk series, And I do believe that every participant, every students and audience, they need to know how these through all this information that we get, so we can actually embed it in our daily life. So without further ado, thank you so much, and see you in the next in Adorable Lecture Series. Assalamualaikum. Bye everyone.
I leave you with one quotes. Pasak minda perkasa jiwa. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.